Alrighty, guys, and welcome back to the 2020 year of Friends. Friends is coming back with that nice intro. Or Cheers. All right, which was better? What's better, Friends or Cheers? What are we thinking? Is it even relatable, Owen?
I was
You
never a,
there?
f- I was never a
Yeah.
fan of Friends. Didn't like Friends? I'm never a
Really?
massive fan of
What's
Friends. To be fair.
cheers?
Cheers was
Really?
good.
Why's that? What? Okay.
No,
Why
no,
were you a fan of Friends? Just didn't like Joey or what?
this wasn't. It's not my kind of thing. It's just not my kind of television program or television series. Just not my thing. It's not into
That's
it at
fair
all.
enough. So you can't answer that question. They were on a break. Were they on a break or not?
Who?
Exactly right, Mackenzie. Were they on a break or not?
What is cheers?
Oh,
What is cheers?
It was an American television series set in a bar in Boston.
Okay, well, if it's in Boston, then I'm definitely not gonna like it.
all right. That's the best way to start this show. Basically, I compared like a 90s TV show with like an 80s, 70s TV show that are completely different. And then I asked Owen were they on a break or not, referring to Ross and Rachel. Well, that's the ongoing debate if they were on a break or not. And he ended up cheating, right? And then Mackenzie comes out with a banger and says, "What is Cheers?" So that's a good way to start. This will be our final show, my final show on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. It will be Owen's final show as well on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Now, don't forget, I have my own channel, Steeler Nation Australia, and Owen has his own channel, Britsburgh Owen.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie will be staying on this platform, this network, every Wednesday going live. So I'll be tuning into that. Like we're leaving the team or the channel. We're not leaving the internet. No one's like, if anyone starts any rumors, we're fighting. That's all false. That's probably Chat Sports doing those rumors, right? Because they're terrible. We're all mates. We're all like mates on the internet. It's all fun. It's all awesome. We just have different adventures going on in our time. So I want to give a big thanks to Gridiron Blitz, Derek, who we started this journey with the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. We started this last year. I started this last year with Derek. Went from 0 subs to now 2,047 over 280,000 hours. Or not hours, so that'd be awesome. 280,000 views. You know, we built the fan base up and the community up really well with our Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all we want to talk about is Pittsburgh Steelers, on that quest to get the seventh Lombardi. So shout out to Grid, shout out to Derek. He's building a really fantastic platform, giving young content creators like Trey from the Vikings, like Gage from Denver, the fellas from the Dolphins, a Jets guy. Mackenzie gets a chance here to talk her story and talk about her Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's awesome, and we love that. For me, and I'll let Owen you speak for a little bit, and then we'll just go back into Steelers talk. And even Mackenzie, so we get your take too as well. But I'm really grateful for this opportunity. It's created for me my channel and how on my direction. And now I'm just a little bit busy with stuff, but it's been awesome experience. But it's time to change teams or become a free agent kind of style. What are your thoughts, Owen, on the so that's funny. I got tired of Jennifer Anderson getting a haircut every week. All right. What are your thoughts, Owen, on what's been happening with the Syndicate, man? It's been a crazy wild ride, right? It's been
I mean, it's
like
massive since Mark brought me on board back in, I think it was March time last year. Yeah, so nearly coming up for a year. Did that build up the syndicate from obviously a few hundred, I think, or 1,000, whatever it was a few hundred subs when I came on board to go up to 1K. But I think that was the biggest thing for me again is obviously, first of all, thanks to Mark for bringing me on board. And I got to know Mark through BTSC. Messaged him once on Facebook, I think, and he actually replied. And I remember talking Steelers on Facebook and stuff like that. And then he introduced me to Grid, and it was like, thanks to Grid as well for having the faith in me and giving me this opportunity. It always means a lot. And obviously what Grid's taught me and about the internet, about YouTube and everything, I've applied to other things that I've done. And it's been fantastic. Grid's awesome. He's an awesome guy to work for. But he's also an awesome human being as well. So that's fantastic. And yeah, it's been a wild, crazy journey. Enjoyed the shows with Mark and everything like that. And then obviously bringing Mackenzie on board as well. And it was great to have Mackenzie on board as well. So yeah, it's all been fantastic, And sad to be leaving, but I've just got so much going on with. Yeah, I've got my own couple of channels. I've got my Southern channel, which is so I'll Americanize it for you guys. It's the Sarker,
Soccer.
It drives us mental in this country. You guys call it soccer. And obviously my Pittsburgh Steelers channel, Britsburgh Owen, and I've just got loads of other stuff going on with family issues at the moment as well. So I've just got enough going on and work as well, just enough going on in my own personal life. So I just can't give Grid the time that this needs to really do well.
Yes.
I don't want to feel like I'm cheating Grid because he's such a fantastic guy. So yeah, definitely.
That's exactly right. And when we say Grid, he's a YouTuber called the Gridiron Blitz, and his name's Derek, and he runs the Detroit Lions Syndicate. We're part of a family of syndicates, so we all have each other's back. But the Pittsburgh guy says where y'all going, and maybe Mackenzie can answer this in an Alabama accent.
Where y'all going? Where y'all going? They ain't going nowhere. They just taking some time away from the channel to do their own thing.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, that's crazy. That's so good. We're just talking about accents off air, and I think Mackenzie, you said you had like an audition as an Alabama lass. Is that right?
Yeah, for someone from South Alabama. So
I like how you can. I know because you are an actress, but how you can change it so easily. You know what I'm saying? Like, just goes bang bang. I normally got to hear a person before I can actually copy their accent, but you just go bam. Huh? What do you mean, mate?
What do you mean?
Now we're just gonna be taking the piss. But no, I think it's fantastic. Like, yeah, so yeah, we're leaving, but Mackenzie, you're still staying. Are you excited for this opportunity with the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate? You'll be every Wednesday, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if some of you've seen my little show I do, Ask Mackenzie, but we're moving the we're moving the show to Wednesday. Better for me personally. So, we're all doing what's best for us. It was best for me to move it to Wednesday. So hopefully you guys can still tune in to this channel when I have my show on Wednesdays, and also still go follow Owen and Mark in their channels.
100%. Yeah, like we'll still be around. Hopefully, actually, we might have more time now to be able to do guest appearances. Here and there, once every 3 months, 4 months. I don't know. Like there might be more time to do those things, and there might be more meaningful, podcasts than coming on and talking about friends and cheers. But that was a good way to start. But that's all the homework out of the way. Let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers news. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to hand the floor to you guys, and we're going to bring up some rumors or some stuff that's going around the internet. There's nothing really, factual running around town. Of course, we did get Aaron Curry. What are your thoughts, Owen, on Aaron Curry coming in as the inside linebackers coach? Does it really mean anything? I'm okay with it. I don't really. It doesn't bother me if it's a positive or a negative. What are your thoughts?
It's meaningless. It's meaningless, really. It just isn't. It's just not it's not an appointment to get you excited. It's not an appointment to, I don't know, to get the juices flowing. Really is at the end of the day. My only concern about Curry is the fact that he's 36 years old. He's got very little NFL experience. I think he played for 4 years in the NFL. He's got very little coaching experience as well. And going into an organization like the Steelers, where you've got such experienced veteran players on the defense, he's going to have to work really hard to get their respect and to get them to listen to him, because what can he possibly tell TJ Watt, or what can he possibly tell Alex Highsmith or Miles Jack? These guys are seasoned veterans, with more experience in the NFL than he has. So, I was listening to our good friend Noah Strackbine talking about him, and he was I agree. It seems like such a boring non-appointment. Really, just is nothing again.
It's kind of what the Steelers do, though, all the time. I was joking off there and how we went and got the receiver Oshesky, right? There's nothing really ever big happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers offseason. Now, of course, they went and got Mitchell Trubisky last year at the quarterback position. I think that was like kind of a big move to a certain degree, but nothing really happens where you get outstanding moves and go, well, that guy's a huge guy in the NFL. What about your thoughts, Mackenzie? What are your thoughts on, Aaron Curry coming to the Steelers? Are you a big fan of it? Does it even matter?
I mean, look, I'm not mad about it. It's not something that I'm like, again, jumping for joy about. At the end of the day, what you said, Mark, is true. Like, we're known to kind of, pick up people that might not have a big name for themselves. Maybe, they've only been in coaching in the NFL for a few seasons. Like Owen said, he only played for a few seasons. But again, we are the Steelers. There is a reason for everything we do. I'm sure there is a big reason that maybe we don't know. Maybe I don't know really what the connection is, but Mike Tomlin, if he likes him, then hey, I guess we have to give him a chance, right?
Oh, big time. And of course, I did hear another report too. I think Jerry Ozlowski, I think his name was. I think he played for the Steelers too, if I'm not mistaken. But then J-Dev also says he is Curry coming in and bumps up the signing for Bobby Wagner up to 15%. What are your thoughts on that, Owen? Is Curry being there, a former Seahawk, played with him for 3 years? Does that make Wagner have an interest in the Steelers to come over? And can we even afford him? Like I just think, yeah, go and get him. But can we afford him?
I don't think they'll bring Wagner in. He's not a Steelers signing. You look at the way the Steelers operate in terms of bringing in players. It's very much bringing in guys that have either just come off their rookie contracts or were on rookie contracts. Wagner he's the wrong side of 30. He's had goodness knows how many contracts. I just don't think he's the type of player the Pittsburgh Steelers would bring in. He doesn't fit the way that the Steelers operate, does he? You look at the guys we sign, the guys we bring in guys, young guys that they can mold, guys that are still very young and keen. I mean, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how old Bobby Wagner is, but he's just not a Steelers type player.
30,
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. He's too old. When have the Steelers ever brought in someone over the age of 30? Very, very rarely. And again, with the fact you're already paying. If there is no restructure done, you're paying Miles Jack $12.5 million. You're paying all that money? You're paying Hayward $22.5 million. You're paying Minka. I mean, I think Minka's 12-14 million next year. You're spending a lot of money on that defense. I honestly don't see them paying Wagner what he would want to come in here. I can't see Wagner coming in for a vet minimum. He's going to want big money. So I think there's absolutely zero chance Wagner would ever turn up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And I want your thoughts too, Mackenzie, about this one. What are your thoughts, Mackenzie, about another rumor about Bud Dupree coming back to the Steelers? Is there any truth to that? Have you heard about that?
That was the first thing I've ever heard of it. But
that and Cheers. Have you never seen Cheers? You're not like super young. You're like 25 years old.
Yeah, wait, it's Dupree. He's with a tight.
Yeah, Tennessee Titan, and I think he's a free agent now. Something's going on because there's rumors around him coming back. Oh, okay, Cap, okay, but there's rumors about him coming back to Pittsburgh.
Well, that's cool, I guess. We were all sad to see him go, but I mean, I don't know. I'm here for whatever. If you want to return to the Steelers, you want to be a Steeler again, hey, just be a Steeler. I don't know.
Well, some were calling him, Bud the Dud, but I thought it was pretty good in his last year or two.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out from Detroit Lions Syndicate. That's Grid or Derek. So he's the man behind the camera, makes everything happen. You might see him here. I'm not even sure if there's a host in looming, so you might see Derek come on and do Pittsburgh Steelers news. He could be wearing a Lions t-shirt, so don't go too hard on him.
I like the Lions. I mean, can I say that? I like the Lions.
Oh, you can say that. We like the Lions too. I've got nothing against the Lions, and I've like the other team out there. I've got nothing against is the Saints. I can't hate the Saints for some reason. I just think they're just a normal team. But Lions actually pretty good this year or last year. They were the same record as us and had a chance for. Actually, kind of as they were on the playoff chance, and next year they could be pretty big too.
Yeah, they were 6 at one point, and then they came out of that hole, right?
Well, yeah, they were like 1-6? No, or 1-7?
I thought it was 1-6. Maybe it's one.
Yeah. So they did very similar to what we did to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are your thoughts, Owen, about Bud Dupree? Is that another thing that can happen or won't happen, or is any truth to that?
I mean, I've heard that from a number of sources. I've heard that from Chris Carter, from Dejan Kovacevic, a number of people saying so. There's a good chance that he could come in and be the third piece in that outside linebacker rotation. Behind Warren Highsmith with Quincy Roche, who we've also re-signed as well as the fourth option there, because I think there's enough needs elsewhere in terms of inside linebacker, cornerback, offensive line, defensive line to spend the draft picks on and any big free agency money, but. Bud Dupree apparently is going to be a cap casualty from the Titans, same as Taylor Lewan, because they apparently can't afford. They don't want to keep them around for the money they're going to be on. So yeah, it is a strong rumor that he would be cut, and it does seem that there is interest there because I think one of the was just the fact they couldn't pay him the money. And Highsmith obviously coming as well. It's just down, I think, to whether the fact that Bud Dupree will be in the third piece in the rotation, the guy behind Highsmith and Watt, obviously.
The big difference there is for Taylor Lewan and Bud Dupree. One person spits on TJ Watt, and the other guy high fives TJ Watt. So I don't actually see, if any free agent comes over, I don't see Taylor Lewan coming over to the Steelers. That's just not a Steelers signing with all the history. Mackenzie, with all this, free agent talk, right? Do you think the Steelers will go out there and make any splash plays in the free agent period and go and get anyone? And who do you think they might target to go and get for this team? Like anyone stands out?
Listen, I have no expectations. I have no expectations to get anyone big. And if we were to get anybody, I would see us going after a quarterback. And I don't know. Only because what do we know? Mason says he'd stay if Mitch goes. So now it's like that's another whole storyline that we have to talk about. It's like, man, so at first we thought they were both leaving, but if one stays, then that changes everything that like we were talking about, possibly, drafting a quarterback later in the draft while also going to get a vet, pick up a vet somewhere. At this point, if I would like to see Mitch go, if we do keep Mason, I would trust him more to be more accurate with the ball when Kenny goes down, if you know what I mean.
Ravens game. We should have won that game. That was just ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Vet quarterback. No one can argue with me. Vet quarterback. You go and win that game. It's just a joke. You throw 3 interceptions. You run down the field. You win that game, and that pretty much cost the Steelers season. Like that's where everything went down. And if you're being in the league 6-7 years, you go and win that game. That's what's frustrating me. And can Mitch do that? Can Mitch be behind Kenny Pickett? I'll give him another shot. But can Mitch be behind Kenny Pickett? 4 games in, Kenny Pickett goes out with a sore leg for half a quarter, or misses the game because he got sore ribs, something like that. Can he go in there and win a game? We need someone to go in there and win a game. And I actually, I know Owen might not agree with this, but Mason, greater than Mitch. Mason can go in there and win some games. So
I agree.
But the thing is too, you're right, Mackenzie, right? Now Mason is saying, well, if Mitchell Trubisky, if he gets cut, if he's not the guy, I'm happy to be the guy to be backup. But like he wants to find a new home for a free agent, and Mitch is like, I don't know if he wants to stay or not. There's just so many different reports going on. Also, shout out to Denver Broncos Syndicate. That's our mate Gage. He's doing fantastic work over there too. Thanks, mate. We'll be around on the internet for sure. It's been awesome work. I think I did a podcast. Yeah, I think Gage was on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, I think, last year. So that's fantastic. But what are your thoughts, Owen, about this stuff with the quarterback that Mackenzie brought up with the rumors about Mason, he will stay, he won't stay, that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, in terms of the quarterbacks, I think Mitch Trubisky I think he's got to be cut because, I mean, $10 million is a lot of money to pay for a backup quarterback who you might never see take the field. $10 million, especially when you've got concerns over other areas. And the fact that we've got so many other areas that need addressing. And to do that, we need to create cap space. So can you justify spending $10 million on a backup quarterback? I think if you look through the league, there are very few, if any, QB2s on $10 million. Mason, I think a lot depends on whether any other teams want to come in for him. I think he's still quite sore over the whole alleged quarterback competition that didn't take place last summer. I mean, I've certainly heard.
He should be the happiest man in the league. He had the best seat in the house. Happiest man. $5 million a year. Come on. Best seat in the house. He didn't get hit. He didn't get his tape judged, right? He had a free year. He sat there watching Pittsburgh Steelers game. Should be the best, happiest man in the world.
The easiest thing.
Well, he did lose his girlfriend there, didn't he? But that's something different. But
he didn't have the pocket. He didn't have the awareness or the presence to see it coming. But I think.
Oh boy,
he threw an interception on that one. But I mean, I've heard talk of obviously the Steelers going for someone like Jacoby Brissett as a backup, who has worked with Canada and Maryland, who is a decent quarterback, and then possibly drafting someone late on in the 5th, 6th round, someone like a Hayner or Jaron Hall or someone like that to come in and be a long-term backup to Pickett. But I just think that of the two of them, you'd probably keep hold of Mason because he's cheaper. He's more willing to be a backup. And Trubisky, like I said, he's too expensive. He's way too expensive to keep just to be a mentor to Kenny Pickett. I mean, why not? If you want a quarterback just to be a mentor, go and get Josh Dobbs. Bring Josh Dobbs back. He probably accept $1.5–2 million. You know, you cut Trubisky, you save, I think it's $8 million because there's a $2 million dead cap hit. So you still got $4 million. That's $6 million to spend on other positions. You'd probably get 2 players for that. So Trubisky's got to be cut, in my opinion. He's just too expensive.
What if we traded Trubisky for, like, I don't know, a player and a pick or something? I don't know. Not a player and a pick, but like,
who would we trade to, though? I don't know who would pick him up.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, could we trade him and possibly get, like, anybody for it? Like, no.
I think some teams need a quarterback, but do they want old man Trubisky that can't do anything?
You know? I mean, look at Andy Dalton. He's been running around the NFL for a while. So he's been going everywhere. So it is possible.
It could be a possibility that they might trade him to a needy team like that for a team that, you know, the Steelers aren't going to do quarterback competition, but other teams will, like the Colts will, Saints will, stuff like that. So maybe he might go to a team that have a quarterback competition. That could be a possibility, and maybe get like a 6 or something with him. I don't know.
I think the problem with that is the fact you've got to really, with that, I think, wait till after the draft, because obviously teams like New Orleans, Carolina, who else are going to be looking in Tennessee? Well, perhaps not Tennessee, but are going to be looking in the draft for somebody. I mean, obviously Tennessee have got issues whether they know that Tannehill's pretty much is a busted flush now. He's done, but Malik Willis is nowhere near ready for the NFL yet. So yeah. You know, perhaps even somewhere like Tennessee could be somewhere you could trade him after the draft, once the draft's taken place, I think, and teams know what they've got. But I think at this moment in time, no one is going to take him because the draft's coming up, the free agency period's coming up. I mean, I don't. Obviously, you've got the uncertainty as well over Lamar Jackson. I know, you know that he's going to be probably franchise tagged, but will he play under that tag? And that's another question. So, you know, are they going to? I read an article the other day saying that I think it was on Sports Illustrated saying that the Ravens have lost Jackson, that he's gone because they're not prepared to give him what he wants.
Yeah, and didn't he just come out and say he wants to be paid what Deshaun Watson is getting paid?
Yeah.
I hope the Ravens pay him. You know.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'd be hilarious.
That's so sad. Like, I think Lamar Jackson's talented than Deshaun Watson, not to get off track, but they should totally pay the man.
Pay the man because it works out for us. He can't beat the Steelers. Exactly. Not with this new defense we have now too.
Do you not think, though, that $250 million over 5 years is a lot to pay a running back?
Mate, he's not even on the field. Me and Matty talked about it yesterday on Steelers Touchdown Under on BTSC. He's rarely on the field. He missed like 8 games last year. So
he's missed a lot of time, hasn't he? He has missed a lot.
Yeah, I think versus the Steelers, he's only played him like three times. We beaten him twice. We lost once in the first game, I think. I think that's true. And with everything else, he's always been injured. Every time it comes to Steelers versus Ravens football late in the season, the last 2 seasons, I think he's been injured. And we've ended up playing like Tyler Huntley or someone like that. So I hope they pay him and then it's going to stuff around the Ravens organization. But you guys bring up a good point. If we're even going to talk about trading Trubisky, I think Jackson's got to go somewhere first. He might go to another team. There's talk now with Derek Carr going around the town, which I think he's an average quarterback as well, right? Talk about Daniel Jones getting big money. I also think he's pretty average too, which I don't understand. But all these guys got to settle first. Once they settle, then the second tier or third tier guys, or maybe second tier of Trubisky, there might be a chance to trade them to another team. But I think, I went to it was the best quarterbacks, and this I find very funny. I was talking with Matty the other day about this. I might get your guys' thoughts. Right now in 2023, they're saying these are the best quarterbacks, right? The free agents: Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Baker Mayfield, Terry Bridgewater, Mike White. What have they all got in common? They're terrible.
I was literally just going to say nothing other than they're all this average quarterback.
Did you hear the Jets quote though to Derek Carr though They said that he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he played for the New York Jets.
Derek Carr? No.
Yeah.
No,
That's
he's
what
average. He's just average.
That's what
mate.
the Jets said, apparently, to him. They said he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he goes to the Jets.
Well, we also need to hear what Aaron Rodgers decides first. Do you think he's going to stay with the Green Bay Packers?
You're banned. Banned. No, you're not banned. I don't get that either. Aaron Rodgers is just so smug about going away for 4 days and whatnot, and he's got to, I said it yesterday on the TDU. If I did that for 4 days, you guys would be like, "Where are you, Mark? I'm worried about your health."
He went on a dark retreat. He went on a retreat, and he's in the dark for 4 days. Trust me, I heard him talk about it. I listen to him talk a lot. He's just he likes to be by himself. So he's literally sitting in the dark and seeing whatever comes to him. If he wants to stay with Pack, like his decision is maybe it's already been made. We're just waiting to hear it. Who knows? But I know
it's weird.
We all do that.
I think he's so unique. He's just so different.
Aaron, I'm not a fan of him, mate. I think he's overrated too. Aaron Rodgers. He's only won one. I'm just not a fan of his play and the way he acts. I think he cheats the Packers fans. I think he calls out his receivers too much. I think he's always playing with the Packers fans' hearts what to do. He's worse than Brett Favre in that respect, I think.
Brett Favre left.
But he left and came back and left again and retired and didn't retire. And he went to the Jets and went to Vikings, And I think Aaron Rodgers is doing the same. He goes, I'll make a choice. I'll make a choice for you fans in 4 days. I'm going to go chill out for a bit and I'll come back. And then he did that last year. There was even reports last year he was coming to the Steelers. He talked to Pat McAfee about it. He liked Tomlin. He liked the leadership, like that kind of stuff.
Those were all rumors. Those were all rumors. Those were all.
But he fed them though. Aaron Rodgers feeds them. He goes on Pat McAfee and feeds them. He plays the game with the media, and I think he does it on purpose.
The media plays with him, so he plays with them right back.
I just can't handle him. I think he's not an average quarterback, but I think he's overrated to a certain degree. But what I'm saying is like that, in that list, right? The best quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, these guys. We have to wait to see where they go, right? Where will Jackson go? Where will Derek Carr go? And then that might give a chance for the Steelers to trade Trubisky. But I'll ask you a question, Mackenzie. An easy. That's a bit of a hard question. Do you think Trubisky's on the team next year?
No.
Like dead set gone.
No, I think he's gone.
Owen? I'd like to say no. I hope no. Really do hope no. Because it really does show real short-sighted financial management and short-sighted player management to keep someone around for that much money if they're not actually contributing.
Yeah, I get a feeling like for me, I kind of see yes, and it's just the way the Steelers do things, though. You know what I mean?
Like
it would be smart to cut him, keep the money, but I feel like they're gonna have him as a backup, and Trubisky would just be like, you know what, I enjoy being here for the money and whatnot, and to be Kenny's role model. I think that might happen, but I would love to see a shock where they go out and cut him, and of course you've got going to the draft or free agent period, maybe you have only Kenny on the roster. And you fill those holes once everything settles down. And you get a guy like Josh Jacobs coming back. You get a guy like Brissett coming back over like that. Or, Heineke or Minshew. I don't care. Anyone like that. Anyone to be a good backup, to be serviceable for 2 games and who wants to be like... I never saw Trubisky wanting to be a Steeler. Did you guys ever see that, get that feeling where he was like out there playing to win? He was playing not to lose, wasn't he? From the start.
He was playing scared. Playing just to get by. Just to do what he has to do to earn that paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think we saw that in the first game. He, did okay. We saw that in the Ravens game. He was going down the field and then threw 3. But what else? What other news do you have, Owen, going around the NFL league or the Steelers league that might affect the Steelers team? Sitting in February, there's not much going on at the moment. What do you have in your mind?
A lot. I suppose a lot of it now is around sort of the renegotiation. I mean, the Cam Sutton thing is a big thing for me as well. I think it's absolutely vitally important that the Steelers re-sign Cam Sutton. He's the best cornerback we've got. And if the Steelers cannot go out in the draft and the free agent period and get someone who is a CB1, or even if we do go and draft a Christian Gonzalez, a Cam Smith, a Kaylee Ringo, a Joey Porter Jr., we need someone like Cam Sutton in that cornerback room to be like the mentor, to be like the coach to bring that guy on, because he displayed last season excellent leadership skills. He had his best season statistically. the one worry is that he is attracting a lot of attention around the NFL, and it's whether the Steelers will be able to match the money that teams, that alleged teams, like for example, I know the Lions are interested in bringing him into their organization. But for me, keeping hold of Cam Sutton is an absolute must.
Rightio. What about yourself, Mackenzie? Out in LA, any big rumors for the Steelers out there?
No. None. It's dead. It's dead. I mean, even outside, it's dead. Nothing's happening in LA.
Nothing's going on, eh? LA's a quiet town.
LA is so quiet. But I want to say we made the mistake with Mike Hilton. We don't want to make it again.
God, he was a good player, wasn't he? He was a good player. Well, wasn't there a choice in the eyes of Steelers fan? There might have been a choice between Cam Sutton and Mike Hilton. They went in the Cam Sutton direction. That was more or less the
exactly.
Wasn't it all three of them? Wasn't it all three of them? It was Sutton, Hayden, and Hilton, and they just could keep two of the three.
Yeah.
It was
possibly.
So basically, yeah. So the whole idea was getting rid of Hilton so they can bind a Cam. Why would you get rid of Cam if you spent all this time to save him? Like, those players that you want to keep around, like TJ Watt, we want to keep him around. Well, why don't we show Cam Sutton that we want to keep him around? Because without Cam Sutton, we only have James Pierre, Arthur Mollett, Levi Wallace, and Keeler Witherspoon, and that's not the strongest cornerback group in the league. So
I feel like Cameron Sutton's kind of a guy, isn't he? He's kind of like the hidden talent in the Steelers locker room. He's a good leader. You see him. He's always got that swag too. He's got that clean, like he's always looking like professional out there, killing it. But he does his role for the Steelers. I think they might try and get him. I get a sense though that will the Steelers try and keep Terrell Evans and Cameron Sutton? Can they keep both? Do you guys think they can keep both?
Well, I feel like if we keep Cam, then will that throw out Tremaine coming?
Don't know. What do you reckon, Owen? You're the man. You're like Mr. Khan. You know all about the money. You can break it down.
There's got to be. I wish I was like Omar Khan. Jeez, man, you're getting paid a lot more than I get paid now. I'll tell you that for free. I wouldn't be living in the scummy town in England that I have to live in. I'll tell you that for free.
You could bring over the Pittsburgh Steelers to your area.
What, that franchise move? Man, I wouldn't curse anyone with the town that I live in. Jeez, I'd be embarrassed to show you all. I think the problem we've got at the moment is we need to create cap space. It's a desperate need to create cap space. We can't even talk about any free agents or signing anybody big at this moment in time because there is no cap space at this moment in time. There is obvious ways to save that, which is restructure deals around Haywood, Watt, Fitzpatrick, cut players that we like, Trubisky, cut players that we don't need. But at the moment in time, I just think they do need to create, but they will be not. The Steelers will be nowhere near as active in free agency as they were last year because they just have not got the money this year to go out and do it. Most of the incomings will be done through the draft, because obviously, plus you've got to work on the basis you've got to free up enough cap space to sign your draft picks as well. So Khan's got an awful lot of hard work to do over the next few months, and there's a number of players you could easily cut and make cap room. Like I said, the obvious one is Trubisky for $10 million. Then you restructure Miles Jack if you're going to keep hold of Jack. Restructure Haywood. I mean, my personal one is I would either trade or cut Deontay Johnson because I don't think he's worth the money that he gets paid. But we need to create money. We've got to try and create some space.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know if we will be as active as because last year we were pretty active getting certain players, right? Even though they weren't the big names, we definitely got them. And we acquired a guy from Kazi. What are your thoughts about Kazi coming back? Is that a chance, Mackenzie? I hope he does. I like Kazi. I think he's cool.
I don't see why not. I mean, he didn't make any terrible mistakes with us. He wasn't anything notably awful that we had seen from him. Wasn't he injured for a little while too? So
yep.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, he was pretty much. I like how I know it sounds funny and it's a football game of tackling, but I like his tackling technique. I think he's a real short tackler. I think he goes for the leg, goes for the hips. I like the way he drives. Comes down into the box when Devin Bush doesn't want to tackle. He'll be down there. I also like the way that he breaks on the ball too. And I think it was near the end of the season when we did see that 3 safety set with I almost said Tremaine, Terrell, Kazi, and Minka. Those 3 guys working together. We saw the defense how it was meant to be at the start of the year. And he went down at the start, Kazi, of course, on the 1-year deal, I think from the Falcons or somewhere else he came from. But the 1-year deal, and then he hurt his hand. And even in preseason, he was one of the guys that you look around the field, no one wants to make a tackle. Kazi was in there. He was making it. So I hope they can keep him or get him to a good deal. But it will be hard to keep all these players. But of course, they got to sign some of them. They can't not let all 20 go, right? Who was one player, Owen, that you want to see out of the free agent list signed for sure? They have to sign them.
What, from the free agent list?
Yeah, there's
I
can name them too if you want.
Yeah, it's easy. Cam Sutton. He's the one player you've got to re-sign. He's the one player on the list has got to be brought back. There's not even an argument about it for me. Cam Sutton is the man.
And yours, Mackenzie, too? You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I also think, though, too, I like the idea of bringing back Ogunjobi, but I think you can also get guys in the draft or if, guys like Loudermilk step up. But I do see that the cornerback room for the last 2 or 3 years has been, it's been pretty average to a certain degree. And he's a guy that is a leader in this locker room, too. So go and sign him. I would love to see. I just don't see that Terrell Edmonds goes anywhere else. I think he signs with us too. But like you said, Owen, Omar Khan's got to work his magic with the money. Is there any other news, Mackenzie, you've seen coming around town? Any other rumors around there to do with the Steelers?
That Jalen Ramsey rumor dead?
Yeah, can we end that? That's one I won't even entertain. I will entertain the Bobby Wagner because there's links now with Aaron Curry, but why, when we see a guy like Ramsey, he won't even fit for the Steelers?
Why was he in Pittsburgh?
Well, he was in Pittsburgh?
There was a picture of him at the airport.
Oh, I always see those meme ones. It's a random person. They just say someone else. I don't know who it is, but I don't think it's coming. I legit don't think he'll be here as a Steeler. Too much money.
Yeah,
really old dude. I think I would rather go and get Sutton. But do you think he's coming in, Mackenzie, or not? Like I don't see it.
No, I mean, if you're gonna, I'd rather just keep Sutton.
Yeah. What about you, Al? When you think about this Ramsey stuff, is that real far-fetched rumor material? Like that's pretty far.
Yeah, it's far-fetched because number one, I don't think the Steelers are going to give up what the Rams will want for him. The fact he's still under contract. So, the rumor I heard, which was the 32nd pick, is what they'd want for him, because obviously that. Although it's in the second round, it still counts as a first-round pick. And one other pick. I can't see the Steelers doing that because I think they want to use the draft capital that we've built up to bring in young players that they can develop and mold. And again, I just think with the cap, the way we are so up against the cap at this moment in time. And I know, like I said, you can create space, Trubisky, William Jackson III, restructure, etc., etc. Jalen Ramsey is going to want a boatload of money. He's going to want a lot of money, and he's not going to be cheap. And do you really want to be spending that much on Jalen Ramsey when realistically you're already spending loads on Fitzpatrick, loads on Hayward, on Jack, on what you're going to hopefully they're going to find some way to extend Highsmith as well this summer because he's going into the final year of his contract. Mm-hmm. He's someone they've got to try and hold on to, or you're going to be faced with a similar situation to Bud Dupree where you're going to lose the second guy in the pass rush. So they're going to be spending a lot of money there. They can't, I don't think, justify spending what they're going to have to spend to bring Ramsey in. The guy's on an absolute chunk of change now anyway in LA. He isn't going to take a pay cut.
Is there any offensive guys for you both you see that the Steelers bringing in as a free agent?
Offense.
Like I don't really. We were talking about a lot about defense, right? All I know the name is being linked or rumored is Juju because he was a Steeler. Now, is it a possibility? I don't think so. But even on the offensive line, it's probably one of those guys as well. We won't even know who they are. Yeah. Like I didn't know who Mason Cole was for the Vikings, and I think he's turned out pretty well too as a center. Done a really good job, and he's talking with passion and confidence about the team. He's buying into the culture. That's good to see. Even James Daniels, I didn't know him that very well, and according to PFF, he let up like one sack the whole year. So those kind of guys will come over. But have you guys heard anything else about offensive guys coming in?
No, I mean, all the rumors I've heard, obviously, anyone's obviously the Juju rumor won't go away, will it? Because of the fact that he's next Steeler. But I think if Kansas want to keep him, he'll stay in Kansas. The guys just want a Super Bowl. Why would you walk away from that?
Yeah.
But in terms of the offensive guys at the moment, there hasn't been a great deal of links. I think they're going to use the draft to try and build the lineup. I've heard rumors that they're going to use the first 2 picks on offensive linemen to really build the line. The likes of they're going to bring it. Obviously, look at the likes of Broderick Jones, of Darwin Jones, the Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida, Darnell Wright, the tackle from Tennessee, and bring them in to play left side of the line and really say to Dan Moore and Kevin Dotson, bye-bye, you've had your chance.
You don't like
All right, I got a bit of a game we're going to play. I just saw this, okay? Who wants to be the positive person? Who wants to be the negative take out of you two?
Positive.
Oh, okay. You might not like this game.
Never
All
mind.
right. So Mackenzie's going to be the positive take, and I was going to be the devil, the angel and the devil. All right. Now we have Benny Snell. I'm going to start with some funny ones. Benny Snell Jr. What is a positive reason for bringing back Benny Snell Jr. Mackenzie?
He improved last year. That's all.
That's only one positive thing. Okay, that's fair enough. Owen, what's a negative behind? And sorry to put you as a negative guy, but what's the negative one? It's the way the game works. I just made up. For
What's the negative of keeping Benny Snell?
Yeah,
he's a waste of a roster. We don't need him. He's a waste of a roster spot when you've got Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. What's the point of keeping a guy just because he can play special teams when you've got Killebrew, Watt, Boykin, all those guys that can play special teams?
Okay, is Killebrew is he a free agent this year or not? I don't know if he is.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know he wasn't on the list. I didn't see him on the list.
No, he's not on the list. I don't know if he is or not. So maybe he's
right.
Okay. What about here's a funny one. JC Hassenauer, center. What are the positives for JC Hassenauer, backup center? I told you positive was hard as well.
I don't know much about the man to answer that question.
I guess saying, what is it? Ignorance is bliss with that one. What about you, Owen? What's a negative?
He hasn't made the breakthrough for now. He's just such a nondescript guy. He's just
a guy, right? Just a guy.
He hasn't he did a little bit at the end of the 2021 season when Kendrick Green was finally taken out the firing line, but you can get better. You can get other people to play there. Right? Daniels has played center. I mean, we've still got Kendrick Green under contract. I know Green's pretty awful, but
Yeah, to me, he's just a guy, but if he's there, he's there. Okay, what about Zach Gentry, Mackenzie? What's a positive about bringing him back? He's also a free agent too. I'm sticking to the offensive line for a little bit. What about Zach Gentry? Any positives there?
Yeah. I mean, the only positive I can think of is he didn't do anything that bad to stand out in my brain last season. So if he's not doing any harm, then let's keep him.
Yeah, I think he's got the connection with Muth, of course, and the Basham brother mentality there, the grilling and chilling. So it's probably good for the brand as well. Yep.
He can play quarterback.
He can. I don't know if we want to see him out there.
Yeah.
6'6" Gentry throwing a 40-yard bomb to Pickens.
Yeah, if everyone goes down, we can always rely on Gentry to save the day.
Yeah,
can he actually play though? Is there any real fact behind that? When's the last time he's thrown a football?
High school.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just joking.
Let's run a Philly special in one of the games. Let's get Zach Gentry in there. Let's run one of those Philly specials in the red zone.
Mark brings up a good point. He says the dude can drop the hammer block on you. He's a big dude. I think there's some positives around him. What's one negative, Owen, for keeping Zach Gentry if they were to give him a contract?
The fact that Matt Canada thinks throwing a shovel pass behind the line of scrimmage is a good thing to do.
That's he did it a few times actually last year, 2 or 3 times, a shovel pass. I think at the 45-yard on your own side. the only real outcome is getting 4 or 5 yards, maybe. Like Zach Gentry can't run. He's not fast, not going anywhere.
Well, no,
So
it was the fact he threw a shovel pass to Zach Gentry, who was stood in front of about 2 or 3 defensive linemen and about to get nailed about 20 seconds later.
It's a play you see in high school, a play you see in middle school, right? That might work if you've got a big guy. But there's nothing you can even on that play. You can't even build from that. If I were to show an Australian that play who doesn't follow the game, they'd be like, "Why did they do that?" And I'm like, "Exactly. Why did they do that?" All right, let's choose one more. It's kind of fun. Let's choose. Okay, here's one. Here's a good one. We'll end on a good one. What a positive about bringing back Robert Spillane McKenzie? What's a positive? And you can't say the Derrick Henry hit, even though it's fantastic. Thinking about this one.
He just adds to the depth that we need.
That's true. That's why I chose him as well. Owen, what's the negative about Spillane in this circumstance?
He can't pass cover to save his life. He gets burnt. Right. He gets burnt on pass coverage all the time.
Yeah. So we have on one side, McKenzie saying there's depth there. We definitely need depth. Actually, we need starters at middle linebacker as well, not just depth, right? So there could be a possibility that Spillane and Miles Jack might be playing those in the same, middle linebacker position together. And they could always go out and cut Jack as well. They could do so many things in the brain of Omar Khan. But I agree. He's depth, but at the same time, he is a good linebacker, but there is coverage abilities there where he just gets burnt so many times. But he is very physical, veteran guy for this locker room. But I feel like we need a guy maybe in the draft or go and get another guy like Tremaine Edmonds coming in, sign a big guy, get the Pittsburgh Steelers passion fan base going crazy, right? And then have Spillane and Robinson backing up and learning the craft behind that. You got the veteran Spillane, you got Miles Jack, you have Tremaine there. That's one I could see actually happening, that the links with Terrell Edmonds might happen. If they want to give him anyone money, I say that might happen for that middle linebacker position. All right, guys.
I was going to say Spillane's going nowhere because, the guy played 100% of snaps in the last 2-3 games. Mike Tomlin, for some unknown reason, loves Robert Spillane.
He did play well, though. He played pretty well in the last year. So he played well.
I'd love to see them, if they're going to keep him. If they're going to keep him, I'd love to see them keep Jack, him, and Robinson, but bring in someone in the draft, not in the first few rounds, but someone like they could get in the 3rd or 4th round, like a guy called DeMarvin Overshone from Texas. He's Shazier-like, and I think he could be someone that could be developed to be a really, really good inside linebacker.
Do you guys think? No, I'll leave this the last question. And I'll start with McKenzie. Do you think cutting Devin Bush or moving on from Devin Bush will be a big positive for the linebacking crew? I think it will be. Like, will they improve?
If his attitude doesn't change.
No, if sorry, I question that poorly. If they cut Devin Bush, right, will the linebacking crew, the middle linebacking crew, will they get better? It's pretty bad last year.
Maybe we just start over at that position at this point.
Cut them all. What about you, Owen? Yeah. What do you think? I think they will.
Bush is gone. Bush is done. The guy played. Games of the season.
Here we go. Yep.
He played hardly any snaps at all, Bush. So I think Bush is gone. He's definitely gone. And yeah, McKenzie's right. Bush's attitude stinks. It really does stink. It stunk from the start of the season, didn't it? That quote, I think, was one that he'll never be able to escape. When he was asked about, will you still be a Steeler this time next year? And he just said, well, I'll still be in the NFL. Like, I don't really care, basically. I couldn't care less because I'll still be playing in the NFL. Well, do you know what, Devin? I wouldn't be so sure because the money you're going to want, I can't see many teams playing for someone who has had one good season and then had a major injury and has just been very, very, very average since he's come back.
He's a bit like, the Bell scenario. The Pittsburgh Steelers kind of move on. They find someone else, and then the guys leave Pittsburgh and they don't go anywhere. Bud Dupree, look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these guys go out there and they're not very successful. So I think, Devin Bush was definitely checked out. Let's go around the grounds. Let's go final thoughts for yourself, Mackenzie, and then Owen, then I'll do myself, and then we'll call it a wrap. And then it's our very last show. You'll never see me on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate again.
Unless you're on my show.
Oh, yeah, on Mackenzie's show. That's right. You'll be the host. I wouldn't mind being a guest. I would love to be a guest. What are your final thoughts, Mackenzie?
Oh my goodness. Final thoughts. Well, I'm really sad that I really enjoyed this with you guys. Final thoughts about the season or Pittsburgh Steelers. I just hope we can continue to make the smart moves to put us in the best position come season. But I'm going to miss you guys. Thank you so much for bringing me on, Owen and Mark. I know it hasn't been that long, but, hopefully we can still, I'll stay in touch, be a guest on my show. I'll be a guest on your show. Just continue, cheering on the Steelers.
That's it. With it, the common goal is for us to win and get a bloody Lombardi. You know what I'm saying? Final thoughts, Owen. Our very last show together, mate, on this network. I know we'll be working together, man, probably for the next 10 years. Who knows? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm only going hard in the paint.
Yeah. It's been a crazy almost 12 months, guys. It's been fun working with both of you. It's going to be sad to obviously leave the syndicate and everything that goes with working for the syndicate. But just in terms of the Steelers, hopes is that we make the right acquisitions. We address the gaps that we need to do through the draft process, obviously, and mainly because the money, and we put out a team that is going to be truly competitive and that is going to blow the Bungles and the Clowns away next season.
Yeah, that may happen, or it should happen. We should be able to keep up with the Bengals. For my final thoughts, guys, I appreciate you, Owen. I appreciate you, Mackenzie. I wish you all the best, Mackenzie, in your work, in your role with the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Me and Owen have done a pretty good job, and with your help recently, it's been awesome too, building up the subs, the views, and the community around here. So that won't go away. Hopefully the new host is awesome. You guys can work together too. But yeah, check out Mackenzie's show Wednesday. I'll be tuning in when I can as a viewer. It would be awesome to come as a guest. We've got Twitters and Voxes, and we can always be in contact. So it should be a lot of fun to build our brands on YouTube and stuff like that. Owen, mate, it's been fantastic you coming into the syndicate. I definitely needed someone to help me out. I couldn't run, and now I can't even. I can barely run my channel, right? Steel Nation Australia. I couldn't run the syndicate without your help at the start and even throughout the whole process. We did pretty much a video every day about news. Even if we were clawing at news, trying to make things up. Not as bad as Chat Sports, Mahomes to the Steelers. Will that happen? By the way, Chat Sports is awful. Go and unsub to them. They're terrible. We had to make up news or get a story somehow. We need to be entertaining on this platform and talk about our Steelers, right? So sometimes it's really hard to do that stuff, to think of generic ideas, but it's been awesome going through the ride and getting, your channel to 1,000, Owen, and doing some fantastic things on Britsburgh Owen. You're the only UK guy I know, I think, with a podcast over there. I know a few guys over there who watch the Steelers, but you're going hard in the paint, doing some excellent work and representing, England for Steeler Nation, and Steeler Nation is worldwide. I'm representing Australia, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's kind of like a sad day, but at the same time, we're not dying. We're fine. we're still around. I'm going to be streaming the XFL in an hour's time, so we're still around. We thank you, and of course, guys, thank you to the viewers as well. For everyone who follows the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, you guys are awesome, man. Without you guys, we can't have that conversation, that debate. We can't have the fire Mike Tomlin debate. We can't have those things. So it is. Oh my god! Don't even, man. Hit that Y. Oh, it's just a joke at this point, isn't it? Oh goodness, it is just it's a joke. They're a joke. They don't know what they're talking about. They wanted the cut. I can't wait this year because they kind of know the team now. They know them a little bit. But I challenge you, Chat Sports. Debate me live on air. Debate me and Owen about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You will not win. There's no way. You have to be going to your Steelers dictionary. You be going to Google for everything. So, and as Brian Herndon says, see you guys around. It's been fantastic, man. It's been great on this network. But yeah, guys, that's our last show. That's it. All right, now what do we do? We got to make sure Mackenzie goes and watches Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.
All right, guys, that's it. thanks everyone for tuning in. The next few weeks or days, or there'll be some kind of Pittsburgh Steelers host. I don't know who it is, but I wish them luck too. I wish them luck as well. So thanks, guys, for checking out the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. And for the last time, we have our cheesy music. I'll see you guys later.